Hey everyone, welcome to the Darksliders podcast with Doug and Brad.
Hi.
So this past week we both finished up playing Until Dawn,
Yep.
and we did a video review of this as well, which kind of gave our general thoughts on it, and basically we both just absolutely love everything about this game.
Mhm.
And we kind of talked through the overall feeling of it, the gameplay, all that kind of stuff, just our general thoughts and feelings on the game in more of a typical review fashion in that, which is up on our website, up on our YouTube, everywhere. So you can go check that out. But what we want to do is we want to sit down and talk about all the spoilery stuff in here, all the story, all the ways that this game handles different situations. So this is going to be a huge amount of spoilers for Until Dawn. And this is a game that if you know the spoilers, I honestly believe you will probably not enjoy nearly as much as you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, fair warning, if you have not played Until Dawn, if you have any desire to ever play Until Dawn, thank you for checking us out. But I would advise you stop listening to us right now.
Yeah, please do. Like just go listen to the review. If you haven't played Until Dawn, the spoiler for your review is for you. And this is yeah, we're gonna start getting into spoilers. And I think the game is so much dependent on its story that just knowing the story ahead of time is gonna kill a lot of the suspense that this game really heavily relies on.
Absolutely. So, the first thing I want to start out with is Doug started this game a little bit before me. I was paranoid from the beginning because when you start this game, you play as Hannah and Beth, who
Yeah.
are two sisters. And all I knew going into this game is that you can make characters die or you can make them live. And Doug played this start this a week before me. So the first opening act, the prologue, where you're a year before the actual game, and you're running through the woods, and these two characters fall off a cliff and die. I
Yeah.
stopped. I turned it off, and I messaged Doug. Holy shit, I started this game. I already killed two people. What the hell am I doing wrong?
Yeah, I like too because I think the decision that leads to their death is either let go of your sister or you let go yourself because I think you play as Beth.
Yeah.
So you play as Beth and you and your sister are hanging off the cliff and this guy with this flamethrower is standing over you who has been stalking you through the woods, quote unquote. And then you decide to either drop your sister or drop both of you. And I think I dropped both of us. I was like, I think we'll land okay.
That's
Um,
exactly what I did. Is I was like, well, if I let go of her, then I know I die. If I drop both of us, I think there's probably a better chance that we'll just oh, it's not as far as it looks.
Yeah, yeah, and then they die. I was like, I had that immediate reaction too. I was like, oh fuck.
How did I screw this up 10 minutes in?
Yeah, yeah. I did read it. I don't know if I read online, but I was just like, well, okay, I guess that's just how this game works. I do like that they do immediately set you up being comfortable with the fact that some of your characters will die. Like
Yeah.
it's shocking, but you're like, oh, well, okay, I guess that's the stakes.
Well, and it builds the intensity right away that this game has of you can fuck this up. This isn't
Yeah.
gonna be pretty.
I really like too that they set up all the other characters as being jerks. Like the other characters
Oh
are
yeah.
not nice people. Well, to begin with, they set them up as just being just jerks.
Yeah, essentially the main characters of this game killed these two girls by just some asshole high schoolish prank.
Yeah, yeah. I I did think though, like almost from the beginning, that there's something up a little bit with Josh because I did realize that Josh was the only one involved not involved with the prank. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about that more
Yeah,
later.
see, I always just thought he was just skeezy as hell. Like he pissed me off from the beginning. Like I don't know why. There was just something about him that in my mind I was like, okay, if one person's gonna die, I could be okay if it's Josh. I don't need him around.
You know what's really interesting though is like when they do the whole year later thing, I felt because Josh was skeezy, he was gonna be more interesting to the story. So actually, I wanted to keep him alive just for the sake of story, because when they set it up, when they first come to the cabin, you can tell there's just something off with Josh. You're not really sure what it
Yeah,
is. He just seems like there's something a little strange. And the thing was, like, everybody was kind of an asshole. And he was the only guy who didn't seem like an asshole. He's the only guy. I mean, there's something weird about him, but he wasn't a jerk like everybody
yeah,
else was.
that's true. So my question then is early in the game you have the decision with the saw blade of Ashley and Josh. So
Yeah,
you wanted to keep Josh alive for story's sake. So how long did you pause on that decision?
I, God dang, that was the first time I thought I really screwed up. Was because I wanted to keep Josh. I really wanted to keep Josh alive. And actually, really interesting. The scene right before before the saw blade even occurs. That's when you have your first psychiatric meeting, and
Hmm.
they sit there and they ask you like which characters you like the least.
Yeah.
And and actually, now that I'm thinking about that scene that you're playing as Josh, it's actually kind of interesting because he's saying he hates himself.
Yeah, because I totally picked Josh. I was like, yep, Josh is the person I hate. I hate Josh. That dude's a bastard. That was the guy I picked. And I actually had that realization too, like 5 or 6 chapters later of I kind of just pointed out the fact that I hate myself, which in the context of the story, like I don't know how intentional that was to build that kind of mistrust, distaste for him.
Yeah,
But in context of the story works really well of like I hate myself. Like I didn't prevent my sisters from dying. I hate myself more than I hate everybody else.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that just gave me chills. That was super cool. I didn't think about it until just now. But yeah, when the saw blade happens, I was like, I did think I did want to save Ashley because I thought it made more sense for Chris to save Ashley, and I felt like maybe Josh would be more accepting of it, accepting of his death. I don't know. For whenever I made decisions, I try to think of like how the character would make that decision.
Huh.
So with Chris, I was like, well, he'd probably save Ashley, and then like what I did is I didn't make a decision.
Yeah, I did
Actually,
that same thing because about a half hour before that is I think where they point out like sometimes the right decision is not making a decision.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think they show you that like almost like right off the bat because I think Chris is like shooting.
Oh yeah, he wants to shoot the squirrel.
Yeah, and you can shoot. Did you shoot the squirrel or not?
Oh
I
hell
did.
no, I didn't shoot the squirrel. Why would I
You did
shoot
or
a
did not?
squirrel?
Oh,
No,
you
I
did. You
didn't.
did.
No, why
Yeah.
would I shoot a squirrel?
Well, that is interesting. That's what I really did like that about this game. There's a lot of decisions you can just not make, and I decided to not choose between them. And then it's like I had said something. I think when I walked in the room, it's like Ashley, no, or something like that.
Okay, so we did the exact same thing because I did the same thing. It was like you walk in, you see him, and I think it like gives you the choice to yell at one of them. And I was like, "Oh man, we need to save Ashley." It was like, "Oh, we need to get Josh out of there. We need to save Ashley." I think are your two conversation
Yeah,
options. And I think that set up is so when you get to the point where you make that like indecisive moment of like, "Shit, I don't want to pull this damn lever." It just automatically like defaults to the one that your character from the prior choice would have made.
yeah. But now that I'm thinking back to it, I actually kind of actually now that I kind of want to go back and replay that scene because I'm thinking that the this I mean this is all spoilers and stuff like that. Josh fakes his death there,
Oh yeah.
and he pre-records the psycho message. So I'm curious that even if you came in and said Josh, Josh, would it still kill Josh or the dialogue change or something? Because you can't
Well,
kill Ashley.
and but had you killed Ashley,
No, you couldn't though,
you
because
couldn't.
Josh never wanted to kill anybody. He never.
Oh, that's true. So I wonder what would have happened if you tried to kill Ashley.
I don't know. I want now. I want to
Oh,
go back.
yeah, and I think we should say this too. We've both only played through this game once, so we're both kind
Yeah.
of going from our own separate accounts here. So it's two accounts of, again, multiple choices. And I know the way we normally play things tends to be fairly similar. I think so.
Yeah.
It's
That's
probably like
okay.
1.5 playthroughs between the two of us.
Yeah. But I thought it was really cool because when Josh died, that's what I was like, oh God. But actually, like there was I think they gave too many hints that Josh was still alive. And the first major hint that Josh is still alive is I think you escape with Chris and Ashley from that shack, and you come out and you meet Emily and Matt,
Hmm.
and they say, oh, and then then Chris and Ashley go, oh my God, Josh got cut in half. Oh my God. And then Emily goes, oh, we need to see the body. And Matt says something, oh no, we shouldn't see anything. I was like, I don't think Josh is dead. I don't
Yeah,
know.
see, and we were playing this at the same time, and you pointed that out to me. I was like, that's such a throwaway line. Like, that's just like they're not believing that their friend is dead. Like, he's dead. He just got sawed in half. Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
I felt really stupid later, but
Yeah, I guess at what point did you start thinking that Josh was a psycho? Because for a long time I did think it was Hannah, and I didn't have any proof for it being Hannah, but for a while I was like, because Josh died, I was like maybe Hannah blamed him for her death or something like that.
see, I don't know. The whole time, I just wasn't really sure. I just always thought it was that psycho from the first thing because I didn't really necessarily catch the flamethrower thing versus this guy just because like that wasn't what I was focused on at that time.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it was just this guy who was already there. It was just that this guy's already there, this sort of thing. There
Hmm.
wasn't that separate entity of the psycho slash Josh and the dude with the flamethrower. I don't remember. Did he even have a name? I think they just referred
Uh,
to him as flamethrower dude.
that's how I always refer to him. He might have
Yeah.
a name, but
But I
yeah.
always just thought it was that guy. So it really never occurred to me that it was Josh necessarily. There were a couple times, like once it got close, I was like, nah, there's something going on here.
Yeah,
But
there's some actually really cool things that you can find that kind of show you that it's Josh. One is, do you know there's the dollhouse scene?
yep,
So in the dollhouse, once you open it, there's a diary on top.
yes, yep,
And then it tells you to flick right to
Yep.
like read it.
Yep.
But if you flick the other way, did you do that?
No, I didn't.
If you flick the other way, what happens is, because I think the diary they set up, it's like it's just before everybody comes or something like that, and there she's like writing. It's like, oh, I'm so excited for everybody to come. But if you flip back, it's actually her talking about Josh and how Josh has like mental issues and he's been seeing
Oh,
doctors.
shit.
Yeah, and then
Ugh.
there's another scene a little later on where you enter the butcher. You sort of enter like the butcher's area,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and on the wall you can like lift up a sheet of paper, and they show a diagram of his sawed in half thing.
Really? See, I didn't find
Uh,
that either. The only thing that I found is I know when I was walking around the basement, I found like a corner room where it was kind of tucked in the corner of this like control board for all the different lights and candles that kept flickering,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which doesn't necessarily point to Josh, but points to, okay, somebody in this house is doing something. That was kind of my first thought of, wait a minute here.
Yeah, I like that they kind of make you think that that the psycho guy's supernatural. I think they make you think that there's something supernatural going on, and then they tell you, oh no, it was all just Josh the entire time, nothing supernatural. And then they do like another supernatural twist, like,
And
oh
then,
wait,
and
no,
then
there
the
actually
cannibal things show up, and it's like, oh nope, never mind. There's shit going on here. It's not just a big joke. Well, that's what I thought too, because I think that was like 6 or 7 hours into the game is when you like fully Josh comes out. I was like, no, I wasn't trying to kill anybody. I was just fucking with you guys.
yeah.
That's like 6 or 7 hours in, and I was like, does this whole game like end on this note of like, ha, gotcha?
That's what I was really I was a little bit worried about that. I was like, oh, I hope this is not how the game ends, because
Yeah,
it does really kill the tension of the first story arc. You're like, oh, okay. Uh, I don't know. The reveal I thought was kind of nice, but like I knew it was Josh going, and I was like, okay, it's definitely Josh. It's definitely Josh. Like I knew maybe like 2 hours before, because they keep dropping hints, especially if you explore really well. I thought it was really cool though, because the other part that I noticed, like when you're in that butcher area, all the pigs are gutted and their guts aren't anywhere. I was like, oh, that must be how he faked it, because he
yep.
used all these pig guts and stuff. So I don't know. When they finally revealed it was him, I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Although I am curious, can you kill any of the characters before that point?
Yeah. See, mine both died in the last like 45 minutes. Mine both died in chapter 10.
Yeah, so did mine. Mine died really. I cheated a bit. We'll talk about that later. I had screwed up a few times, and then I might have like reset my PS4 really quick.
Boo! Oh, damn! Seriously? That's bullshit. No. Oh, and I mentioned this, and I don't even remember if this has nothing to do with this, but I mentioned this to Doug. I totally spoiled a scene in this game accidentally in the game.
Yeah,
So
I didn't get what the heck are we talking
okay,
about?
so it's around chapter 4. So you know when you're in the psychiatrist's office and you're going through all the pictures or whatever,
Yeah,
and there's I think it's like the third or fourth one where like just at the end of it the psycho's face pops up.
yeah.
When you pause the game, every single time the character you're playing as face pops up. If you pause the game in that scene, the psycho like with his mask and everything, his face pops up.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That is so cool.
I have it recorded, so I probably put it up maybe in this video somewhere, because I actually like stopped and was like, okay, I need to save this clip because this is ridiculous. So like I paused it because like whenever I got to those, that's like my like let down, like, whew, okay, I can go pee now. Or, like I can go get a drink, like I can go do something now. Okay, I'm gonna take a break for a second. So I was like, okay, answering the questions, like, oh, I better pause this really quick before it gets back into like the main story. Okay, I paused it, like, what the fuck? And
So
it's just the psycho's face pops up, and I went, okay, this is stupid. I hit resume, and 10 seconds later is when he does like the pop up thing, like the like camera turns to his face.
that's so crazy. I didn't wait. I wonder if wait. What happens if you pause in the earlier psychiatric scenes? Now I'm curious. Or is it just that final one where they kind
I
of
think it's
reveal
just
that?
the final one because I paused it before, and you just see the psychiatrist's face.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't. I didn't. Oh, I was wondering because you kept saying like, oh, I spoiled something. I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't know
No,
what you
so
were
like
talking
I don't know why that's there, but it's
about.
totally there.
Yeah.
And I was really pissed because I was like, they're not going to reveal this to the end of the game. Why would they be doing this right now? Which, I mean, in the context of this game, is a very tiny plot twist. That, oh, it's actually the psycho, and I think I kind of
Mhm.
picked that out relatively quick. That, okay, I'm probably the psychopath guy.
Yeah, I had sort of yeah, I thought that was really cool. Actually, I did think that the psychiatrist was a real person. My running thought for a long time was when I thought it was Josh, I thought Josh had met some sort of like weird psychiatrist who's like doing some intense therapy by tricking his friends. Like maybe this will help, like a psychiatrist helping him trick his friends so he'd finally get over it. I didn't expect for him to be, fake like in his head. But
Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't talk about when I first talked about Until Dawn before you had played it. I didn't want to talk about the psychiatric scenes because I thought they were super cool.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was one of those things where I think there's maybe one too many. Just because
Mm,
by the third or fourth one, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure. Like, it got to the point where I felt like I'm pretty sure this isn't doing anything. Because initially,
yeah.
I was flipping out every time. I was like, well, do I like snakes or spiders? I was like, well, is there gonna be a big ass snake monster if I pick the spider? Like,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
like after the third or I think there's what, maybe five of them before you kind of get the big reveal that like, oh, you're in the psycho's head, and then
Yeah.
there's like another one or two before you realize it's Josh. I just think the early ones, there's maybe one or two extra ones where you're just kind of like, okay, I can kind of click through this. I don't think this is having a huge impact on the plot. Like, I kind of lost
Yeah.
interest in it for a minute or two there, which is one of the few points in this whole game I kind of lost interest in it.
See, that's interesting because I actually liked them more and more as it went along.
Well, no,
Not
I'm
because
not.
of the
No,
choices.
I'm not saying I didn't like them more and more. I'm saying like one, two, three were good. Four, I was like, okay, this is getting old. Fifth one was like, oh shit, it's that guy, and then they were better from then on.
Oh, okay. I get that. The thing I liked about the psychiatrist stuff though was that the choice I thought it was interesting in the beginning because of the choices, but I thought it got interesting later on as you're going to is because the psychiatrist gets more and more aggressive, like really
Yeah. Oh yeah,
aggressive,
like
and I thought that
crazy.
was really neat. I was like, whoa, wasn't expecting that because he starts like calling you like an asshole and like a horrible person, and
Yeah.
which kind of feeds into that thing at the beginning, like who's the worst person, who do you hate the most?
Yep.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
really
totally a thing I think psychiatrists do, by the way. I'm pretty sure if you go in for therapy, they're like, which one of your friends do you just want to kill right now? Like, let's start
yeah.
there.
Yeah, you know, there's something just a little bit off, and I really wasn't sure about that. I really did like those psychiatrist scenes or whatever. But yeah, so I guess from the second point when they after they reveal it's Josh, that's when the Wendigo plot line sort of starts coming in.
Yeah, in like a major way. And you had hints about that when you're exploring the asylum thing with Mike, because that's before the reveal. You start
Mm.
getting hints that there's something weird going on. If you're exploring in there, you feel like, find those couple of, like old like black and white videos of the weird like we're doing crazy tests on people videos.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, you hear about it. I don't. That final reveal video is not till like chapter 9 or 10 or
Well,
something.
there's two
That's
or
like,
three of them though. There's like
oh, is
one.
there?
There's one that I found. It was. I think it might have been in the first time I was in there with Mike. It might have been the second time, like around chapter 6 or something. But there's one that I found where it was just they strapped a guy in a chair,
Yeah.
and then like the lights go out and he was gone.
Oh, because the only one I saw is where they strap a guy to a chair and then he starts like shaking and then he like crawls up on the ceiling and then he like attacks a nurse and stuff like that.
Yeah, there were a couple of things where they're like you see that chair before then. You can find that chair like in the first walkthrough, and there's just like a couple like hints of like some weird experiments are going on with this thing.
Yeah, I like that the game constantly had red herrings kind of popping up, where I because I thought the minor plot line, the minor subplot, uh, miners as in people who dig stuff. I thought that the reveal was going to be the flamethrower guy was one of those miners, and for whatever reason he hated his family and had something to do with that. I really didn't. When the Wendigo thing sort of came in, it is kind of cool. Like once the Wendigo plot line sort of starts revealing itself, you realize that like the whole Hannah and Beth's death was related to that flamethrower guy was trying to protect them from a Wendigo that was stalking them that
Yep.
night.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of scenes that you like go back to early on where you think that you're looking through the eyes of the flamethrower guy, but you're actually looking through the eyes of the Wendigo. You know,
Yep.
like when they do those like infrared scenes.
Yeah.
I
Monster
and
Vision.
yeah, yeah, and they definitely reinforce that because the flamethrower guy wears goggles. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. I'm looking
Yep.
through the goggles eyes. When he did finally reveal, it's like, oh, we gotta go get him. I was like, oh, okay. I thought he was better. Like I for a long time I thought he might be a good guy because he never does. Besides Hannah and Beth's death in the beginning, he never really does anything to hurt you. Did you? Were you
No.
trying to attack? Were you trying to attack him? Like when you there's scenes where you can sort of try shooting at him and stuff like that. I didn't do that.
I don't think I did either, because I kind of had that same thing of like I don't feel like this guy's the problem
Yeah.
at that point, because at that point it's basically come out that all of the bad stuff had pretty much happened between Josh and whatever, because you see the Wendigo before that scene, if I remember correctly, right? Or you at
You
least have like
you see hands grabbing or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
Like Jet's getting pulled through the window. Was
Yeah, yep. So at that point, I kind of was like, okay, everything's been Josh or whatever this monstery creature is. I don't know
yeah.
who this guy is, so I'm not just gonna like kill him.
I don't know. This is definitely maybe a plot hole. I didn't get how Josh and the flamethrower guy never met if Josh spent like a year setting up his house with Wendigos running around.
Well, didn't the Wendigos happen to only come out like if there was like a death or something? Like I know there was something to do with like somebody dying,
No, it was
but
the Wendigo was actually I thought the Wendigo creation story was really interesting. Wendigos were created when somebody feel craves human flesh or like is forced to cannibalize.
yeah,
So like, which I thought was
the miners trapped in the mine. Yeah,
yeah the miner because I thought it was like oh it's the miners, but when they sort of reveal near the end that Beth didn't die, that Beth died and Hannah didn't, and you're like
yeah.
oh damn because
Uh,
you yeah
yeah. Slight sidetrack there. Ending scene when Josh and Hannah are in the water. Did you get that scene? It's for me it was I think it was Josh and Mike were walking through the water in those caves,
yeah
and Hannah pops out of the water. Did you have that scene?
I did have that scene and I don't know how you got to that scene without googling something.
I did. I will tell you, I googled nothing in this game.
Did
Absolutely
you
nothing.
did Josh live at the end of your story?
Josh lived at the end of my story. Yes.
Do you know the only way to get Josh to live is that you had to find every single clue from Hannah's story?
The twin story.
Yeah.
I didn't find all of them. I
What
had
the
some missing
hell?
ones there. I mean, I might have, like. So what it did with me is it zoomed in on her tattoo because I'd found like a picture of her with a tattoo,
Yes.
and in the butterfly effect page it says, "Oh God, what did it say?" It says, "As Josh was in the water, he recognized Hannah, and Hannah recognized him too." Is what
See
it
what?
said in the butterfly effect thing. And she grabs him and pulls him in there. And then the very last scene is a scene of Josh eating, like becoming a cannibal.
Yeah, it's so weird to me because I, but in that scene, how that scene Josh died is Josh Hannah pops out of the water, Josh recognizes her as Hannah, and then Hannah just crushes his head. It's
Yeah, no,
like,
like she grabs him in the head. I'm like, oh, okay, well, Josh is dead. Okay, that's fine. But like literally, she grabs him and just books it like to a cave and just runs through a cave and then just like runs off, like makes a screaming noise, and then you're back walking through the water.
oh weird. Does she pop up in the final scene though?
What do you mean the final scene?
The final scene of the game where they're in the cabin. Well, I guess before we get to the final scene or anything like that, I do want to talk
I
about
blew up
character
the
deaths.
cabin.
Huh?
I blew up the cabin.
Well, yeah. So did I. I think that's how the
Okay.
game ends.
Yeah.
But I was curious. So who died and how did they die in your story?
So for me, it was Ashley.
Yeah.
And this is my one shit. I made a dumbass horror movie mistake. Is
Yeah.
when you're walking through the caves.
Hmm.
Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, because I died. That was when I reset because I was mad about
I thought
it.
about it. I was like, no, I can't do it. I made it this far without doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you hear the voice, you're like, oh shit, that has to be Jess. She fell on the elevator like 6 hours ago. She's probably laying there like going like, oh, I broke my
Yeah.
leg. And you walk in and you knock on the trap door. You're like, oh, here, let me help you. And it's one of the Wendigos and it just comes and eats your face, right?
Yeah, I have a really good story about that actually because I was playing with my dad and we got to that question where he could hear the voice and he was like we actually sat there and discussed it. It's like, well, it's bad. It's a bad idea to split up. We shouldn't split up. I was like, yeah, but I think I will. It's really funny because the bad decision is not to open up the the door. Because when I opened the door and the Wendigo popped out and killed me, I was like, what the hell? That was so cheap. I was like, that's not the bad decision. The bad decision was going off the
Oh, yeah,
path.
yeah, completely. Like, I feel like as soon as you go off that path, Ashley's dead.
Yeah, you can avoid the door, but it's just like because I thought the door was just like I thought that was a cheap thing, but like once I sat there, I reset the game. I was like, this is crap. This is so. I was actually mad about it. That's why I reset the game. Actually, when I reset it, I thought about it more. I was like, oh, they only put that cheap death there because I had made a really poor decision prior to that.
Exactly. You made the decision to go, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to wander off and see what that voice is. I'm not going to grab, the people with guns or anything like that. I'm just going to go this way.
And they definitely give you enough information before that the Wendigos can like mimic people's voices. Like I think they say that
Yeah.
specifically in one of the stories that you can actually
Yeah.
do that. So yeah,
And then my other one was, oh crap, was it Sam or Jess? I don't know. One of those two.
mountain climbing girl or
I think it
pigtail
was,
girl.
I think it was Sam. Or no, it was Jess. In the last scene where you're in the cabin where it's Mike and her,
Yeah.
um, I got distracted by something and wasn't paying attention, and one of those "don't move" things popped up. While I had real quick turned. I don't remember what I did, but I was doing something and I turned to look at my computer or something. I was like, oh crap, and looked at my computer and looked up, and it said "don't move" with a big red box through it. And I went, oh fuck, and then ate her face off. I was like, well, shit. Well, that sucks.
That was the other time I reset my console because I didn't move.
Dear
I
God.
swear to God, I didn't move. I held my breath.
So
I
you
held my
actually
breath.
killed like 4 people.
Yeah,
You
well,
made it through with half of them if you didn't cheat. Dear God.
that one was dumb though, because the thing was that don't move mechanic. I thought, well, we can talk about that don't move mechanic. I thought that was really, really cool, and I loved how they applied it to the story. That the Wendigos can't see you if you don't move, and like you literally
Oh yeah,
cannot move.
I like huddled up and like, stop breathing. Stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
Don't move. How long do I have to sit like this, you damn game?
Yeah, and the thing was like the reason I kind of reset my console is because I know I didn't move because it shakes like shit. Like the controller really shakes a lot, and that's why I was kind of frustrated. It was just because it was shaking so much.
Right.
The one death I did let go was Chris, and Chris died in a horrible QTE accident. He Chris is there's a part where you are with flamethrower guy and you're playing as Chris.
Running back from the shed?
Yeah, you're running back from the shed, and they give you the option to shoot the Wendigo or shoot the flame stuff or shoot like flaming barrels or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did my stupid video game thing. I was like, oh, I bet I can hit the barrels. And then Chris lost his head. But Chris got to kiss Ashley, so I was like, it's okay for him to die.
Yeah, see, I did that whole thing and that whole event because I kept thinking at some point it's gonna be the right decision for me to shoot the flame thing, and every time because it does the little slowdown mechanic every time you have to shoot something, and every time I was like that thing doesn't look like it's close enough to like that barrel's gonna explode and it's just gonna knock it closer to me. It doesn't look like it's gonna die. I'll just keep shooting it, and maybe if I just keep shooting it, eventually I'll get back, and I did get back. So
So I lost Chris. Chris got like decapitated. Like that was crazy. I was just like, oh shit. And it's kind of cool, like, because a lot of the characters started reacting to that. I think the plot points stay the same no matter who lives and who dies. I think you'll just end up you're either gonna miss stuff or people just talk about what happened. I don't know. Maybe that's just sort of like the illusion of that your choice matters because the plot points still hit, but the dialogue does. Like the dialogue was clearly changing because there was actually pretty long scenes where they were talking about a character dying. It's like, oh damn.
yeah, well, and depending even on some of the other things that happen too. Like the saw scene where the saw is coming down on Chris and Ashley. What did you do?
I did nothing. Oh yeah,
Really?
I did nothing. I did nothing because I had seen a totem earlier that in which Chris threw the gun on a table.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe he didn't shoot anybody. So that's why when I came to that scene, I didn't do anything. So what? Yeah. So what happened to you?
I shot Chris.
So what happens though? The gun was a blank though, right?
Yeah, the gun's blank. So you pull the trigger. So Josh points the gun in his face, pulls the trigger, and then it cuts to black because that's the end of the episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then like the next episode opens up and Josh comes running out like, "Oh, what the fuck? You're gonna kill yourself and you didn't."
See, I did that. Yeah, see, when I didn't make the choice, the saw blades keep like so how my thing ended was that the saw blades are coming down and it's just about to hit him in the head, and then it cuts to the next scene.
Yeah, because it's a blank, so it makes the noise like a gun does, and just like as you hear the noise, the screen just cuts. So you're just assuming he shot himself in the face.
Yeah. But that was the kind of thing I was a little disappointed with the Josh reveal. Was like, especially when Josh said he didn't want to kill anybody. I was like, so can characters die before that point? Like I don't know. There's a few scenes where I was thinking maybe they could have died, especially with like Emily and Matt scenes when they're like falling off the
off the fire tower.
Yeah, I was like, maybe a character could probably die there, but
I feel like they would be very accidental deaths. Like I don't feel like it'd be anything intentional. Like we talked in our video review that we recorded before this about the saw scene where it's Ashley and Josh. Is it even possible to set the blade to go to Ashley? Because neither of us picked that. We both picked send it to Josh.
Or I think we
both stalled.
We both stalled and like where maybe nothing will happen, and then Josh got cut in half. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So that would be one where I'm assuming that one you can't. The gun scene, obviously, you can if doing nothing doesn't, and the gun's filled with blanks. So that one obviously doesn't. Those are the two major scenes where I feel like somebody could die that I'm remembering. Granted, like you said, the falling through the fire tower may be one of the scenes. Because I know there's a scene in that cabin, the second cabin, where Mike and Jess go. There's that gun that they're both playing around with, and I don't know what ends up happening with that, depending on choices you make.
Oh yeah,
like when she gets grabbed through the door, all those kinds of things. Like I feel like there could be something there because that's more of the Wendigo plot line as opposed to the Josh plot line.
Yeah, that's
And
true. I
those
thought,
characters are
yeah,
so far removed from each other for the entire rest of the game. And Mike basically assumed Jessica's dead at that point anyway.
yeah. That was the thing. That was the thing that I kind of liked and didn't like about the game is like unless you saw a character's head get caved in, like they were probably alive.
Yeah, because they did that with Jessica, they did that with Emily, and they did that with Matt.
Yeah, because you because I'd say Mike's pretty much the main character of this.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character, by the way?
I think my favorite character was probably Matt or Chris.
Matt or Chris? I liked Chris. I felt really. Chris was Chris. I like Chris and Ashley. Like they're like my. I don't know my team. Chris and like Ashley. I was like, oh yeah, I hope they get together at the end. So when Chris died and it was like clearly my fault, I was like, oh damn it.
No,
I,
I really liked Matt, although I absolutely hated Emily, which I think you're supposed to. I think she's supposed to be the
oh
one
yeah,
character that you have to hate.
I think it
But
is effing hilarious. They give you they. I because my dad was always complaining about Emily too. Like they give you an option to shoot Emily in the face. Like
yeah,
that was hilarious.
I think Matt, like, he's just such a side character that you don't know him so much. But I think like I liked him just because like he's real, like you can make him really put up with some bullshit, and he's just like the
Yeah.
nicest guy ever, and putting up with like Emily this entire game. Initially, I absolutely hated Mike.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was actually yeah, because he definitely turned into one of my favorite characters too. He's a dick in the
Yeah, like
beginning.
the first like three chapters, like oh my gosh, it was like I do not like this guy at all. Well, and I think part of my issue with that is I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays him
Yeah.
plays Grant Ward on Agents of Shield, who's like the ultimate bad guy for like the first three seasons of that show,
Oh
and he just
okay.
plays like this like completely heartless bastard on that show.
Oh
So
okay.
he starts out with kind of that like dickish moves, and it's like damn it, it's freaking Grant Ward. I freaking hate, like, I'm supposed to hate Grant Ward. Like, I hate him. And then, like, about the time you're walking through the asylum, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with him.
Yeah. And by the end, he really tries to be like kind of a hero character, and I
Oh,
like that a lot.
absolutely.
Actually, I really like Josh too. Oh, I thought it was really cool. Like in chapter 10, when you play as Josh, holy shit! I
Oh,
did
like
not
the
expect that at
messed
all.
up, like, hallucination crap.
Yeah, like there's a lot of games that do hallucination scenes. That one, like I really like them. I thought they were really entertaining in Arkham Knight, and this is
Yeah.
like one of the first games where like a hallucination scene was like not fun. It was like scary. Like
Yeah.
I felt you feel bad for Josh too.
You feel really uncomfortable, like,
Yeah,
because the way it's set up is you're just in kind of that one little narrow light, and no matter which path you go, just like something just is there, and it's just this like
yeah,
really claustrophobic feeling that I don't feel like you get in many other games. Of I I go right, there's a giant pig. I go left, there's blood all over. Like just everywhere gives you this claustrophobic feeling of I can't do anything right now.
yeah, yeah. And I thought like the whole hallucinations, like with his two dead sisters, like okay, I kind of get that, but when they had like that giant pig head kind of coming out, and it ended up being like a decapitated pig head, and then from the guts his sisters come out, and like
Oh
one
yeah.
rips off her face, I was like,
Oh
holy.
yeah, that was weird. Oh yeah.
It was brutal, and then you really do feel. I felt bad for Josh anyway. So like when Josh, it kind of makes sense of like what the sort of headspace that Josh is in, why he did that kind of like crazy stuff, and you realize like Josh is pretty much like the besides Hannah is probably like the second biggest victim in the game because his sisters died and he just kind of cracked.
Yeah. Essentially he needed somebody needed to come help him out a bit, and nobody did.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and it's kind of yeah. So I thought it was kind of I thought that was really
He's a
interesting.
very tragic villain.
Yeah, and you find out and you kind of realize like I mean he didn't mean for people to get killed. Like that wasn't his thing. Like he was like
Yeah.
clearly doing stuff that got put people. Although the things that he did didn't put people in danger. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, they did, but never, like, it seemed like he always had a failsafe for everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the whole fact of like the fire tower falling over was because the Wendigos were out there like cutting cords and stuff like that.
Yep.
Any part where somebody was like in mortal danger in the beginning of the game was not because of Josh's fault, which I thought was kind of cool. That was kind of a neat reveal. That
Yep.
because I thought they were gonna just make Josh like, oh, Josh just wanted to kill everybody. It's like, oh no, Josh just wanted to prank,
Mess with
well, you know,
everybody. Yep.
yeah, mess with everybody. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I did like yeah, I guess just kind of to wrap this up. Did you like the how'd you feel about the credit scene? I guess the game ends with them blowing up the house, and
Yep.
then did you have a rescue chopper come?
Yep.
Okay. So the rescue chopper comes, and then I love the credit scene. I thought the credit scene was
Just like
so
the
cool.
interviews.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that. because they talk a lot about your decisions. Like the last half of the game, they really kind of reinforce. They do a lot of flashbacks to decisions you made earlier, and I like that the characters discussed your decisions.
Well, and it has that very like the one thing the thing I was referenced to is probably not the right one, but like that Animal House vibe of like after after college, like it has
Yeah.
that feeling, but it has that feeling in a much deeper way because the decisions I made put them to where they got to be, and how they thought about it was based on how I interacted with everything else.
Yeah, and they talk. Yeah, I did like that the entire interview is just them talking about the decisions that were made.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool because I kind of cheated and had Ashley live. There's a part when they're interviewing Ashley and Ashley's talking about I heard so and so's voice in the caves. And then they interview that girl and she's like, I was not there. I didn't say anything. I didn't call out.
Yeah, it's weird
So
how they go back and forth with some of the cuts in it too. It's
yeah.
so well done.
I like that Emily's still a bitch like the entire time. She
Oh
never
yeah, she's the one character who you hate from the second she shows up until the second that game is over. Everybody else, there, because initially like I didn't mind Chris, I didn't mind Sam.
hmm
The rest of them I'm pretty much indifferent to or disliked. By
Yeah.
the end of the game, the only one I'm sitting there going like, just go away is Emily.
Yeah.
And the whole experience there.
I got
I
a
guess
cutscene where Emily actually pushes Ashley when they're being chased by a Wendigo. She like pushes her into a wall to get out of the way.
really.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think I think I might have had that option. I think I might have not done. Was it an option to do
No,
that?
no, no. It's just so how my finale sort of went down is that blonde mountain climbing girl who I keep forgetting her name.
Sam.
Sam. Okay, so Sam and Mike are walking around the house,
Yep.
and then Ashley and Emily run in being chased by Wendigos.
Yep.
Well, I thought you said Ashley died, so it must have been a little bit different.
Oh no! Who ran into the house? Somebody ran into the house.
But it was
Yeah,
like
there were a couple people running up to the house. They didn't make it to the house until the house exploded. Like they were still standing in the forest when the house exploded.
oh, really weird because I had every single major character was in the house.
Really? Because I had Matt and oh god, what's her name? No, it was Matt and
Oh,
shit.
yeah, I
One
guess
of the
Matt and the other
girls
girl.
were I don't remember who it was. Were like outside that cave because they kind of come off like a cliff face.
Yeah, oh, I guess that's true. Yeah,
Those two were there, and then I had two other ones who were still approaching the house when it exploded. I think.
okay. Yeah, well, anyway, what happens in mine is like Ashley and Emily are being chased by Wendigos, and then Emily just like pushes Ashley into a wall. She's trying to get out of the way for a Wendigo. It's just a really quick scene. Like it doesn't really affect anything. But I was like, "Ooh, you bitch."
You still bitch. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I really really like that game. And actually, you had Sam die, but they kind of Sam has some really weird answers at the end of the interview.
See, and seeing that at the end, I really wished everybody would have lived just because you get that feeling of like, well, what is I want to know what every single character thinks.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious, like, what do they do in that end scene if everybody dies?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious to replay the game, and I don't know, but I don't want to play 5 hours to have everybody just get killed.
See, and that was my question for you is what are the chances that you go back and play through this and see how much you can change it?
See, to me, this is because I feel like so much of the tension is based off on not knowing how the story goes. I don't think I'll ever. I don't. Well, as much as I like this game, I don't think I'll ever replay it.
See, and I'm kind of in that same boat. A part of me just wants to play from like chapter 6 or 7 on just to see like what would have happened. Because I feel like the first 5 hours are pretty much, like you said, I think it'd be really hard to kill somebody in the first 5 hours. I think it'd be really hard to change a lot in the first 5 hours.
Yeah,
But I think once you hit 6 or 7 is where I think shit could start to hit the fan.
that's true. You can actually play the chapters individually, so maybe I'll do that.
But see, my question with that is, and I was going to actually do that before we did this, and then I got distracted by Life is Strange, which we'll talk about probably next week, is if I go back there, do my choices carry over? Does it default choices? Like, how does it work that out? So, I don't know. I want to go back and play that just to kind of mess with it and see what can happen with some of the other endings.
Yeah, I do want to see that. Just like last note, I thought the making ofs were really really cool and kind of well done. I don't know if you saw those, but
Yeah, I did. I watched a couple. That's something that I wish more games would put that in there. I feel like that can't be that much work.
yeah, I thought it was really cool to just kind of have they interview the characters about their characters. Although they're Emily, I know she's just an actress, but as soon as Emily came out, she was like, I hate that bitch. I'm even calling her Emily, but I know that's not her name. That's just the actress that's giving an interview. But I think she said something like, because I was watching with my dad, and Emily says something to the effect of, um, "Oh, I could relate to my character in some ways." My dad's like, ah, "She's such a bitch, I'll bet." It's like,
If you could relate to her, then yeah, no,
yeah.
we don't want you around.
Hmm.
All right, well, that'll do it for this episode. That'll We'll be back next week with a full episode, kind of more of our traditional episodes.
Hmm.
We'll have some Game of the Year stuff coming up here as we're getting close to the end of 2015. We'll talk more about that next week as well. But of course, you can follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Twitter is Darksliders_pod. Thank
Hmm.
you guys for listening.
Yep. And shame on you if you didn't play Until Dawn and listen to this whole thing.